Hi, Sharon Giltrow here, author of the brand new picture book, Bedtime Daddy. Welcome to my virtual book launch. I'm at home today, obviously because of the coronavirus we're not having an in-person book launch, so we're having a virtual book launch from my home. This is my home. So welcome. I've been waiting a long time to do this book launch, so I'm very excited. Yay! First, I'd like to thank my family, who are my inspiration for the book, and their support that they've given to me over the last 3 years that it's taken for the book to get published. I'd also like to thank EK Books for publishing Bedtime Daddy, Sharon Giltrow for illustrating Bedtime Daddy, Paper Bird for hosting this virtual book launch through their Instagram, and Rebecca Newman for creating and launching my website this week. As you can see, I'm in my dinosaur pajamas. In the story, Daddy Bear wears dinosaur pajamas. They're his favourite pajamas. So these are my dinosaur pajamas. My children, Gabriel and Kiana, are also wearing their dinosaur pajamas. And I hope that you're wearing your dinosaur pajamas at home too. If you are, take a photo and post it on Instagram. Don't forget to tag me and EK Books. I would really have loved to have you here at the book launch, but this is the next best thing. We're going to start with a picture walk, which is a walk through the book using our eyes and looking at the fantastic and adorable pictures that Sharon Giltrow has made. So here is the front cover. As you can see, the book happens at night time. There's the moon, the night sky, and the two characters in the book are Daddy Bear and Little Bear. And in the background you can also see a shark. There'll be a shark in the story. You can see the dinosaurs from Bedtime Daddy's pajamas, and you can see the duck, a duck with arms. So let's start our picture walk. We're not going to read the words, we're just going to look at the pictures and see if we can work out what the story is about. There's the stars and moon, so we know it's happening at night time. There's a clock, 7 o'clock, bedtime. There's the two characters again, Daddy Bear and Little Bear, and they're having a hug. That was from something earlier. And here we can see Daddy Bear is yawning and the little bear is saying something. The next page, Daddy Bear is crying and Little Bear is giving Daddy Bear a hug. And here's Daddy Bear walking away. I wonder where he's going. On the next page we can see Daddy Bear putting on his dinosaur pajamas. And he's wearing them on his head. Next he goes to the bathroom to brush his teeth. On this page, Daddy Bear is going to the potty. And here, Daddy Bear and Little Bear are racing to bed. On this page, we can see a duck with arms and a shark sneezing. And Daddy Bear and Little Bear are snuggling up in bed, having a cuddle. And there is Daddy Bear, and then they're reading a story. Something is happening here, we'll find out soon. And then Little Bear gives Daddy Bear a kiss goodnight and walks out of the room. But something happens on this page, we'll find out soon. And then Little Bear kisses Daddy Bear goodnight again and goes to switch off the lights, and then Daddy Bear screams something out. He's thinking about these things. So Little Bear comes back in with something to help Daddy Bear. You can see he's spraying something. And then Little Bear walks out looking very exhausted and tired. Daddy Bear's lying in bed and Baby Bear is closing the door. And finally, Little Bear closes the door, sits outside, and I won't show you the last page just yet. And here is the back cover. And on the back cover you can see there is the street with the houses. And this is where Daddy Bear and Little Bear live. The lights are on in this house, in their house, but all the other lights are off. They all must be in bed. And here's the blurb. My pre-primaries and year ones love that word, blurb. They love to say it. And the blurb is the overview or the summary of the story. I'll read you the blurb. This hilarious book is for anyone who has ever tried to put their daddy to bed. It will show you how to wrestle your daddy into his pajamas, read just one more bedtime story, battle endless excuses, and frighten away monsters with monster spray until finally you get daddy to bed. So, you've had a picture walk, we read the blurb, it's time to read the story. Bedtime Daddy, written by Sharon Giltrow, that's me, and illustrated by Catherine Dwelling. Bedtime Daddy. When you see your daddy, rub his eyes and stifle a yawn, announce,
Bedtime Daddy.
Your daddy will start crying immediately. Give him a cuddle until he stops. Tell your daddy,
It's still bedtime.
watch as he moves slow as a sloth to his bedroom. Give your daddy his favourite dinosaur pyjamas. He will think it's funny to wear them on his head. Try not to laugh and wrestle him into them. Then say,
Time to brush your teeth.
put a tiny amount of toothpaste on the brush. Watch as he tries to spit into the sink, but misses. Tell your daddy,
Potty time.
then race him and belly flop onto the bed. Choose a book and snuggle up with your daddy. He will interrupt the story with questions like,
Why don't ducks have arms? Or do sharks snooze?
and there you can see the sneezing shark and the duck with her humps. Good questions, Daddy Bear. Your daddy will ask,
One more story, please.
read one more story but skip a few words or even a few pages. Get caught. Start again from the beginning, but that's okay because you really love stories. Say,
Good night.
and give your daddy a kiss. Get out before the excuses start. Oh no, too late. Excuses your daddy might use.
I'm thirsty.
Give your daddy a small drink of water.
I need to poop.
You can't risk an accident.
I'm hungry.
Give him a small sugar-free snack.
But I'll miss you.
While he looks at you with cutie eyes. Your daddy is irresistible. Cover him with kisses and give him one last hug. Say,
Good night.
turn off the light and walk out. Wait outside your daddy's door for the scream.
Monsters!
And there's the monsters that Daddy Bear is thinking about before he goes to sleep. The duck with arms and the sneezing sharks. So, Little Bear has to come up with a solution. Here it is. Walk back into the room with Go Away Monster Spray. And you can see the picture of the duck with arms there and a cross, so, which means the spray is going to get rid of the monsters. Spray under the bed, behind the curtains, inside all the shoes, between the pages of the books. Your daddy, whoops, he's not a monster. Give one last spray and walk out of the room. And there is Little Bear looking very exhausted His fur is a mess. Got droopy tired eyes. Leave the door open. No, too open. Close it. Nope, too closed. Daddy Bear wants the door just right. Finally, get the bedroom door just right. Sit outside the door for a few minutes. You can see little Bear there yawning, looking very tired. And here is the last page, or last few pages. And wait. You can see little Bear has fallen asleep. Daddy Bear has snuck out of bed, has come out the door, and this is the last page. Daddy Bear is giving a wink and is going to carry little Bear into bed. And that's Bedtime Daddy. Now I have my son Gabriel here to ask me some questions. The questions that you sent on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. We'll try and keep it quite short, the answers, but I will publish the answers on my website.
Okay. These were questions provided by lots of kind people from around the world. Ali asks, what inspired you to create books?
Well, children inspire me to create books. My own children, to begin with, when they were little, and I was reading them lots of picture books, and now also the children that I teach every week.
Rebecca H asks, when and how did the idea for Bedtime Daddy come to you?
It was in 2017, and it came to me one night when my husband, who is the real Daddy Bear, was putting Gabriel to bed, and he pretended to jump into the bed and go to sleep while Gabriel was brushing his teeth. So I thought that was a great idea for a picture book, a role reversal picture book about how to put a grown-up to bed.
Kitty asks, was there anything about the publishing process that surprised you?
Probably the length it takes from signing the contract to getting the actual book. It took 2 years. So, yeah, the actual length of the publishing process.
Do you go to bed on time?
A little secret, I don't really have a bedtime. I usually fall asleep on the couch anytime from about 9 till 9:30. But my children go to bed on time.
Adele asks, when did you realise you wanted to be an author?
I've always enjoyed writing, but as my children were younger, I thought, well, I have a bit more time, I'm reading lots of stories, I'm at home, I will try and become an author.
Jeanette asks, how did you feel when you were offered the contract?
I was very happy and a bit of disbelief. I had to keep reading the email over and over again to believe that it was true.
Monica asks, what did your children say about it?
I don't know, Gabriel, what did you say about it when Mum had a book published?
We were very happy that we had finally got a book published.
Kiana, what did you say?
I don't know, just excited. Excited for you.
And I think they were both proud of me.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Alison asks, when do you give yourself time to write?
Good question. I'm lucky enough to only work part-time, to teach part-time, so I have some time during the week to write. So I try and give myself time to write every day, and that seems to be working, even if it's for 15 minutes a day. Bedtime Daddy I wrote and revised while I was watching Gabriel and Kiana at swimming lessons. So you just try and find the time whenever you can throughout your day.
When did you start writing for children?
I started writing for children seriously. Well, my first book was 2006 when Kiana was a baby, but then I put that aside for a while, and then it was probably about 2015 when I became serious about writing.
Sarah asks, what or who inspired this story?
My family, my children and my husband, and just the everyday routine and things that parents have to do to get children to bed.
Did you decide to make the characters bears, or did the illustrator?
That's a good question. When I wrote the book, I pictured the characters as people. And then I sent it to EK Books, and they published it, gave me the contract, and then Anushka suggested perhaps that we use bears instead of people, and Katrin did some original sketches of bears and people. So we just compared them, and then Anushka explained that bears are a more universal family. And I trusted her suggestion because she'd been in the publishing industry for longer than I had. So we decided to go with the bear characters, and I'm happy that we did.
What's your favourite page in the book?
My favourite page in the book? That's very hard because I love all the pages, but yes, I think Gabriel is right. It would have to be the monsters page. Duck and the duck with arms, or the excuses page, because I can relate to that as a parent. And they're excuses that my children use when they were trying to delay going to bed.
Elizabeth asks, how long and how many drafts did it take you to complete this super funny story for kids?
The final draft was draft number 10, or version number 10. Version 6 sold to EK Books, and then after that I changed a few words here and there, but this was version 10.
Where can we buy your book?
Good question. From your local bookshop would be the best place, so check to see if it's available from your local bookshop. It's available now in Perth from EK Books, and it's also available from Paperbird in Fremantle. EK Books is selling worldwide as well. Usual spot, Amazon, Book Depository, Booktopia, online stores, but check your local bookshop first.
Gabby asks, what were your favourite books as a kid?
My favourite novels as a kid were probably Enid Blyton, and there was the Little Golden books, were probably my favourite picture books as a child.
Emma asks, are you a night owl or an early riser?
I like to call myself more of an afternoon pigeon, but if I had to choose one of those, it would be an early riser.
Did you have a favourite stalling technique at bedtime when you were a kid?
I'm not sure if I should tell my children this, but I didn't actually, I'm the youngest of 8 children, so I didn't actually have a set bedtime.
Oh.
And
How dare you.
I used to fall asleep on the couch, and then my dad would carry me to bed.
Aya asks, what is your favourite line from your book?
My favourite line from my book would be either the opening line, when you see your daddy rub his eyes and stifle a yawn, announce bedtime daddy, or put a tiny amount of toothpaste on the brush. Watch as he tries to spit into the sink but misses. I like those.
James Foley asks, what was your first reaction to seeing Katrin Drelling's illustrations for the first time?
Excitement and relief. It's as an author, it's very hard to give your manuscript to somebody and let them illustrate it, but I was very pleased with the way that Katrin has illustrated my book, and I couldn't be happier with how she's done it. So yes, very excited, and it was great to see my words come to life through pictures.
Catherine asks, how long from the initial idea to publish a picture book?
The initial idea was in 2017. I signed the contract in 2018, and the book is available now, 2020, so 3 years.
What is one thing that you know now that would have been helpful to know when you started subbing?
Probably make sure your manuscript is as good as it can be, and not to rush into putting your submissions in.
Meg asks, was there something specific that inspired the story?
This little guy here and that little girl there, putting these two to bed every night for the last 14 years.
Mum, there's a question on here.
Oh, there's a question there. Okay.
It said, Annie said, how did you find your illustrator, Katrin Dwelling?
Oh, good question. The publisher assigned Katrin Dwelling to Bedtime Daddy. So they had Katrin's portfolio and they matched my story with her style and her pictures, which was great.
Did it change much across drafts?
Yes, it changed quite a bit across from drafts. At the beginning, the book was called How to Put a Grown-Up to Sleep. And my critique partner, I've got about 5 critique partners, which I'd like to thank as well because they've really helped get the book published. One of them, Judy, said, in America, putting someone to sleep has a different meaning, so you might want to change that to put them to bed. So then I changed it to How to Put a Grown-Up to Bed, or Bedtime Daddy.
Do you have a vision for the illustrators when you write?
Not really. I see my books more in words than in pictures. I try to picture the scenes and then I try and leave space for the illustrator and let them come up with extra ideas for the book. I wish I could illustrate and write, but
Jessica asks, were there ways your path to publication differed from what you expected?
no, I think it was EK Books were a great publisher to work with. They answered all my questions. I remember sending Anuska an email at the beginning saying, this is my first book I've ever published, what's the process? And she explained the process to me. And then EK Books are very great at getting back. I send them an email and in the morning they will get back to me by the afternoon. So they're, yes, very helpful in that process.
Were the way the process met your expectations?
Yes.
Britton asks, what is one standout moment in your writing publication journey?
Standout moment, I think, for me was when I first saw Katrin's illustrations. That was a standout moment when I saw the first PDF of the storyboard, and then I put my words to the storyboard. And again, EK and Katrin were very accommodating with suggestions of any changes at that stage.
What are you working on now?
What am I working on now? Getting my second book published. So I've got a chapter book that is on submission at the moment, and I'm also trying to get a sequel to Bedtime Daddy published, which has the title Get Ready Mummy, and the chapter book I'm trying to have published at the moment is called Samara and the Utility Belt.
And it's really
this, Gabriel's read it. I read when I was writing that at Paperbird when I was doing the fellowship, and I'd write some 500 words or a chapter and come back and read it to Gabriel every day. So he was my tester, and Kiana is my editor, and I'm also hope to write a new story about surrogacy this month.
Meg McKinley, she asked, sounds like your kids might be eligible for royalties.
Well, Meg, as you probably
Yes.
know, all my money goes to my children anyway.
No, Meg, you are smart. You are very smart.
But they might be able to get a percentage. I'll let them work that out later. Maybe 1% of the cost of a book. That can be their maths project today.
Okay.
Any other
100%.
questions, Vicky?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Oh, they said where can you get signed copies, but
Signed copies you can get from Paperbird in Fremantle. They had 40 signed copies, so you can get that by going into the store or ordering it online.
Or after coronavirus.
Okay, we're just going to go inside now to look at some of the activities I had planned for the book launch. Okay, well, you can sit down there.
Okay.
So here we have some of the activities from the teaching notes. Last week, Gabriel and I and Kiana made this clock. It's a Bedtime Daddy clock. How to make it is in the teaching notes, and there'll be a video on the YouTube channel, EK Books YouTube channel. There's also some mazes to do in the teaching notes. There's some colouring in to do. There's a My Dad sheet because Bedtime Daddy would be a perfect Father's Day gift. And I know in the Northern Hemisphere Father's Day is in June, and in Australia ours is in September, so you've got plenty of time to get the book. There's this one that says draw who lives in your house, so you can draw your family. And there's also this one which is a sequence activity about putting Daddy to bed. And there's lots more ideas in the teaching notes. There's a script, there's some more how-to books because Bedtime Daddy was written as a how-to book, role reversal. Yes, and we'll just leave Gabriel here doing the mazes. I think he chose the most difficult one first.
I've already figured it out.
Great. And we'll go into my office where I will sign a book for my niece Emma. I'm just putting Kiana's computer away. This is where she's doing her homeschooling at the moment. So at my book launch we would have had some book signing, so I'm just going to do this virtual book signing to my niece Emma, who's turning 16 tomorrow. So, dearest Emma, look at the stars, look how they shine for you. And then I'm just going to put happy 16th birthday, love from Auntie Sharon. There we go. And this is actually where I wrote Bedtime Daddy. This is my writing space. And this is one of my first drafts when I was mapping out the story. I was just trying to get the sequence of the story happening. So this is my notebook that I use for my writing, and they're my notebooks I use for my ideas. Now it's time to eat the cookies. Oh, has Gabriel solved the maze?
Yes, easy ups. So, we go around there, then 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 we go around there. Done.
Great.
Easy ups.
So these are the bear paw print cookies we made yesterday, and some cupcakes. We wish that you were here to eat them with us, but you're not, so we're going to eat them for you.
But you're not.
Very nice. Thank you for joining me for my virtual book launch. We hope you enjoyed it, and we hope you enjoy our book, Bedtime Daddy. Thank you.
Meg McKinley said, "How can I get a signed cookie?"
Here, Meg, I'll put this one aside for you, and I can personally message you and leave it out the front of our house. Thank you for tuning in. Bye.